Polarizing. That is the one word I'm going to use to define the many different opinions I've been seeing online already about this next record we're going to be reviewing, and that is the new album by John Mayer called Sob Rock. We're going to talk all about it here on this episode of Todd's Turntable Talk. Welcome everyone to another episode of Todd's Turntable Talk, and before we get started, I want to remind everybody to please hit that subscribe button as well as the bell notification to remind you each and every time a new episode drops here on our channel. So when I heard this first single from this album, a friend had shared it on YouTube, and the music video was very reminiscent of an old Eric Clapton video called Forever Man. But it was John Mayer. I have always been a fan of John Mayer's stuff. I think he's a wonderful guitar player. I enjoy his music. I enjoy his lyrics. His album Continuum, I think, is a masterpiece of a record. And his other stuff's pretty great too. So when I heard the new album was coming out and then heard the first single, I'm like, wow, this is really cool. It's still John Mayer, but it's got this 80s vibe to it. When they announced that the album was going to be released the day before Record Store Day, I knew that was the other thing I was going to be picking up when I went in for Record Store Day. And that's exactly what I did. And here we have the new John Mayer album, Sob Rock. I absolutely love the cover. It reminds me of a mix between like Richard Marx or almost a Miami Vice Don Johnson kind of thing. It's really fun, and even when you look at the back, the graphics and everything are laid out exactly like an album from the 80s would be. So right away, you know where John's going with this. This really comes off as almost a love letter to albums from the 80s. The tagline that he put when he was sharing the album art and when it was coming out was, "It's time to love an album again." So he very much was saying that this whole thing is an album experience. Every song is as important as the next one as far as how much effort was put into it. So I was really excited because I love an album experience. You take it out, we got the liner notes here on the sides of the sleeve the record is in, something that doesn't happen much anymore. And we'll get in here and take the record out. Ah, that's fun. And he's gone old school with the vinyl too. See if I can get a good shot of this. It's upside down. Oh no. See if I can get a good shot of it now with the right direction. And they got the original old school Columbia label on there. That's really cool. And it's printed on 180 gram vinyl. So I am really excited to pop this on the turntable, and I'm not going to waste any more time here. We'll be back after I check this out. Okay, we're back. I don't understand a lot of the negativity going around with this album. Not to say that everybody's being negative, but I've seen a lot of negativity that it's too soft or too yacht rock or any of that kind of stuff. And honestly, I don't get it. To me, it still sounds like John Mayer. Still the same singer, still the same guitar player, still the same guitar tone for the most part. Yeah, there's some extra synthesizers in there, and it's got a little bit more of an 80s feel to it, but it's not very different from a lot of the other stuff that he does. I personally really enjoyed it. I think that there's a lot of great songs on here. Last Train Home, which was the single that I first heard, also kicks off the album. It's a great, great song. I also loved songs like Wild Blue. I loved Shot in the Dark. The only one that I kind of didn't care for was Why You No Love Me. Thought that was kind of almost a little too goofy, but I'm not going to fault that because I love when musicians don't take themselves too seriously. Overall, I think this album is great. I think it's a good album. I think what him and producer Don Was set out to do came across fantastic. It even has amazing keyboards by the incredible Greg Phillinganes, who has played with such great acts as Michael Jackson and Eric Clapton, among so many others. It's a fun album, and so to give this a rating, let's get a drum roll here. I'd give it 3.5 out of 5 gold records. Is it his best album? No. I think you'll be very hard pressed to find anything of his better than Continuum was. Not that I'm going to fault anybody for that, because you can't recreate your best work over and over again. It is still a great record, worth the price of getting it, especially if you're into the 80s vibe stuff. Being a child of the 80s, I was very happy to hear a lot of the tones on this record that, frankly, we don't hear on music that much anymore. I'm really happy to hear somebody kind of bringing that back a little bit and having some fun with it. You can get this at your local record stores for around 25, 26 bucks. There is a Target exclusive version of it on a colored vinyl, and if that's your jam, more power to you. But if I can, I always prefer to go indie record stores personally. So we hope you enjoyed the review. We hope you get on and check it out. And if you have checked it out and want to talk about it in the comments, please leave your comments underneath the video. And let's have a fun but civil discussion about the record. I think it'd be a lot of fun. And if there's any questions or comments you have, please feel free to leave them in the comment section. And we will see you next time here on Todd's Turntable Talk.